Luna ơi!
Welcome to Vietnamese Temple of Literature. This is the very first university in Vietnam. So let's go. There are three main parts of this temple, and we just passed the first one. This is the second one. This was the place for the student to relax after all the stressful lessons. Yeah, this is the second gate. Yeah, going to the second part of this temple. You see that small little house up there?
This pavilion was named Van. It used to be a place for the teachers to read and comment if there were any good essays of the students. Our teachers at that time had to know about many things.
One teacher, he will of course teach them about the literature, but also the history, also the geography, and some math. If you want to be a teacher in Vietnam at that time, it would be very difficult. On the both sides of this pond, there are stones. We wrote down all the Vietnamese students who passed the exam here. So there's thousands of names. We have three levels of testing. The first level is in your hometown. We have three examinations at the first level. And if you passed all three levels, you will come to the second level. In this second level, we have 4 examinations. There were very few Vietnamese students can pass this exam. Like in 8 provinces, we only took 9 students to pass the level 2. It's very difficult. If you are in those 9 students, you will come to the third level. This place was the place for that third level. And if you pass this third level, you can have a chance to work with the king, to work for our dynasty. We hold these 3 levels of testing every 3 years. We usually took only the very first 3 students that passed the third level of the testing. We don't care how old you are or how young you are. If you're confident enough to take the exam and you pass the exam, you will go to the dynasty, work for the king. We have the youngest first student who passed the third level. He was only 10 or 11 years old, and the oldest one was 60. 1,000 years ago, when the Vietnamese king at that time decided to build this place, he wanted it to become a temple to honor the great teachers, both in Vietnam and China. And after maybe 100 of years, he decided to let his son to learn here, to live here, to learn. So all the great Vietnamese teachers at that time will come here, live here.
His crown prince studied here. 6 years later, he decided to allow all the sons of the families working for his dynasty to study here also. And 200 years after that,
there was one Vietnamese king decided that he wanted all Vietnamese students at that time, if they passed the exam, they will have the right to live here and learn here. All the students all over the country can come here to learn. In the 19th century, we got a war with the France. From that time, because of that war, it came back to its first purpose, the Temple of Literature. And well, that's the end of this university. And from now, it's just a temple. We are entering the third part of the temple, and it's also the most important part. Hundreds of years ago, this both sides of these blocks was the dorm of the students. They live here in small room, and this is the place for them to take the exam. You will sit down here, got a piece of paper, and the question will be up there. You cannot cheat in our exam because you will have a matches here. Sit down like this, and there you will have a piece of paper here. You will sit down here and write down something like this, and all the other teacher will walk around you the whole time to watch. You have no chance to cheat at all.
You don't think that sometimes the rich kids would have their parents pay the teachers to get their kids in?
That may be a secret. For nearly 1,000 of years, this school was only for the male students in Vietnam. And this also for the teacher's spirit. If they have any sadness or stressful things, they can come here, burn the incense. Try to talk with the gods, the teacher, and wisdom to bring them luck. You only need to think about it. You don't need to talk out loud. We still use this temple nowadays.
These are the statues of Confucius and other famous Chinese teachers.
Now keep going. Go to the back of the temple. Not many people know about this part because it's kind of hidden. We don't have the main gate to go straight into that part. We must go around here. So beautiful. At this time in every year in Vietnam, the fresh graduated student will come here and take a picture to remark that they just graduated from their university. This is a very special and famous place for those students. See, they all wear the Vietnamese traditional dress and they will wear the graduation robe. The girls we usually wear outside. This place used to be a really big classroom for students that if they kind of rainy days or cold day, they study here. I want to show you the drum.
Drum is an important thing in all Vietnamese school. There was always an old man in charge of making sure that students would be on time for their classes. He would beat this drum to announce the time to them.
We usually use it bell only for the important events, something like the king came to this university or some kind of special or important member came here, they will use that. This is the very last block of this temple of literature. It became the museum now. Usually it was just a big temple. When a student passed the level 3 exam, he will receive this from the king to announce that he passed the exam now. He will work for the dynasty. It's a very, very huge honor to the student at that time. And this, you see, this all hand drawn. It's very beautiful. For thousands of years, we use the Chinese writing system. Like we use Chinese word, but we read it in Vietnamese. The way we draw and the color of this document will be different. Each Vietnamese king will have a different way to decorate his document like this. This is our brush, student brush. We use this as a pen. Can you get what is this? We use this to cover our paper. It depends on the size of paper that you have. It's exactly like the old Vietnamese student's backpack. This is the bookshelf. The student will carry these boxes, this backpack, and this brush to take part in the exam. It's very beautiful handwriting, even though I don't understand a word.
You're looking at the statue of the greatest Vietnamese teacher of all time. His name is Chu Văn An. When he was young, he didn't want to work for our dynasty, so he refused to take the third level of testing. He decided to come home, live on a mountain, and teach poor students. Our king invited him to teach his son and work for the dynasty. Finally, he agreed to do that and became the dean of this university. But when he was working for our king, he saw a lot of Mandarins did terrible corruption. He wrote a report to our king, asking him to decapitate 7 high level of Mandarins. Our king denied to do that. So, Chu Văn An decided to quit his job, go back to his hometown, continue teaching and writing. All of his life, he was known as a man of knowledge and virtue.
Come! Vietnamese student uniform! Usually we have 2 colors, black or white, and shoes. And this is their we set up this for the water, but usually I believe that they put alcohol here. Yeah, this is for the paper, the smaller kind. And yeah, our handwriting book. For thousands of years, we use a handwriting book, but in this time when this university appeared, we had the printing technology. See up there, the black one is the plate. This is our textbook. It looks boring. You only have the right to wear this if you pass the exam as the best 3 students. It was all handmade. It took months to make this. Wow, you see, this is the dragon. If you look closer to the dragon's hands, you can see 4 fingers. Usually the king also wears the dragon, but the dragon in king's clothes would have 5 fingers. And only the king has the right to wear that. That's one of the rules. If you're normal people and you have 5-finger dragon, you will die. Okay, come to the next one. We used the best wood at that time, and it could last for 1,000 years more. This king was the very first king who decided to build this temple. He stands in the most important place. Yeah, you can see the bell down there. Maybe 10 years ago, before you take the exam to the university, people usually came here and throw their coin. If their coin stay on the roof like that, they will pass that exam. But maybe a few years ago, Vietnamese government decided to ban that because they're afraid that the coin will break the roof. So now this coin lasts for maybe at least 10 years. We don't have any coins now in Vietnam. When I was in my very first year of my university, all my friends told me to come here because this is a very special place for the students. Okay, you will come here and you will see for thousands of years how did the other students learn and live. For nearly 4,000 years, education was the most important part of Vietnam. The army, only the second one. The first one, always the education. We believe that if you have knowledge, you will have everything. Literature, history, geography was our most important subjects. That all the teacher must know at least. We have no limitation of learning. You can be very poor or very rich, or you could be very young or very old. You still have the right to reach the knowledge. Every time I look at this, I feel really deeply moved because 1,000 of Vietnamese students paid a lot of effort, a lot of time and money, and even their youth to learn, to try to put their name in these stones. If you pass the exam, but you're not in the very best 3 students, you can just come home and become a teacher, and everybody in your village will honor you. At that time, Vietnamese people was very poor. We don't even have enough rice to eat. We still consider that the words, the letter, still more important than the rice. So most of the students decided to take the exam and come home, become a teacher and teach another student. Thank you for watching! I hope that we all enjoy our trip in Vietnamese temple literature. If you have any question or comment, just let me know. And subscribe if you want to see more. See you next Saturday!
Bạn ơi, cho mình hỏi mỗi bạn một tí nhá. Hai này đang quay một tí. Chào, không chào em chứ chị bây giờ lớn rồi. Em là sinh năm mấy nhỉ? 96. Nghệ An à? Quảng Trị. She's from the south of Vietnam. Yeah. Ok. Em thế là học trường nào nhỉ? Kiểm tra Hà Nội à? Thế là em tốt nghiệp tháng mấy? She will graduate in December. November. Sorry, she will graduate in November. Yeah. Anh em muốn nói là chúc mừng tốt nghiệp nhé.